Before I was Lady Hazelthorn, before life shaped me into a woman of strength, discipline, and purpose, there was a little girl who found her entire world in the heartbeat of a dairy farm. My story does not begin in a city, or at a school, or in a crowded neighborhood. It begins far away from noise, in open fields, in quiet barns, in the soft rustle of hay, in the warm breath of gentle cows, in the innocence of a childhood lived close to nature. I grew up surrounded not by toys, but by life, not by crowds, but by creatures who understood me without words. This is the story of how a child's love became a lifelong passion, how the little farm girl became the woman who runs a professional dairy business today. Welcome to the journey of a soul raised by the farm. I was still very small when I discovered where my heart truly belonged. While other children held dolls and storybooks, my tiny hands held milk bottles for calves. While others waited for school vans, I waited for the barn doors to open each morning. The farm was not a workplace, it was my playground, my sanctuary. The cows would lift their heads the moment I stepped inside, as if greeting one of their own. Their warm eyes always made me feel safe. I didn't know it then, but those early moments were already shaping the woman I would become. Every day after school, I ran home faster than any child chasing a dream. I would drop my bag at the door, ignore the snacks waiting for me, and go straight to the barn. That was my true homecoming. The cows knew my footsteps, they knew the sound of my laughter. They leaned their heads toward me, as if telling me that they, too, had been waiting all day. I brushed their coats, fed them Wanda with my own hands, cleaned their spaces with pure affection, not because someone told me to, but because I loved them that deeply. I was never a child who needed human friends. I did not crave playdates or birthday parties. My companions walked on four legs, had soft noses, and mooed affectionately when they saw me. The calves were my true childhood friends. I chased them through green fields, played hide-and-seek behind trees, laughed when they nibbled on my sleeves. They taught me something priceless, that love does not always need words. Sometimes, it speaks through trust, through presence, through simple companionship. Growing up on the farm taught me responsibility long before I learned its meaning. I learned that life depended on us, real life, living beings who needed care, routine, nourishment. I woke early, slept tired, and slowly began understanding the rhythm of farm life, the timing of milking, the importance of fresh feed, the signs of a sick animal, the beauty of new births. Most children learn from teachers. I learned from nature. Nature was strict, but it was fair. It rewarded hard work, patience, and compassion. Over time, something magical happened. I began to understand the cows without anyone translating for me. I knew when they were hungry, when they were restless, when they were in pain, when they were simply wanting affection. Their body language, their breathing, their behavior, all spoke to me. I became the girl who could calm a frightened calf, who could guide a stubborn cow, who could sense if something was wrong before anyone else noticed. This was not a skill, it was connection, it was bond, it was love. My parents were seasoned farmers, disciplined, hardworking, and wise. They taught me the business side of farming, how to manage herds, how to maintain hygiene, how to plan feed cycles, how to keep the farm running smoothly. I absorbed everything like a sponge. While other children learned cartoons and songs, I learned medicines, feed ratios, breeding cycles, and treatment techniques. And the more I learned, the more I fell in love. It was not just a farm anymore, it was my identity. As I grew older, my responsibilities grew with me. I was no longer the little girl playing with calves. I was the young woman who could diagnose sickness just by looking at an animal's posture or appetite. I learned injections, emergency care, milking management, health protocols. I was becoming a professional, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. The child who once hugged cows after school had become the girl who could protect them. My passion pushed me further. I studied dairy farming deeply, not formally at first, but practically, tirelessly, passionately. Every challenge became a lesson. A sick cow taught me medicine, a birth complication taught me patience, a production dip taught me management, a growing herd taught me leadership. Slowly, the girl who once followed instructions became the woman who gave them. Today, I run a high-level, modern dairy farming business, organized, systematic, successful. People respect me not because I built a business, but because I built it with heart. Every decision I make still carries the echoes of my childhood. Every cow I treat is connected to the memories of those I grew up with. Every calf Reminds me of the friends who shaped my early years. I am a professional, but I am still the girl raised by the farm. Even now, when I walk into the barn, I feel exactly what I felt as a child. Peace, belonging, home. The world sees a businesswoman, a skilled farmer, a confident manager, but deep inside, I am still that little girl who ran from school to hug her cows, who found her best friends in calves, who built her life on love instead of ambition. My story began with animals, and it continues with them. They shaped my past, they support my present, and they will forever be part of my future, because no matter how far I go, I will always be the girl raised by the heartbeat of the farm. As this journey comes to a close, I want to return, once again, to where everything began, not to a mansion, not to a classroom, but to a quiet barn, a space filled with memories, the warmth, and the soft whispers of a life that shaped me. When I look back today, I don't just see the buildings, the machines, or the routines of a dairy farm. I see the heartbeats that raised me, the cows who welcomed me with gentle eyes, the calves who played with me like lifelong friends, the peaceful mornings when sunlight streamed through wooden planks, and the nights when I fell asleep to the rhythm of the animals' breathing. This farm was not just a place, it was a universe that taught me discipline, connection, patience, and resilience, without ever saying a word. I didn't grow up with luxuries. I grew up with meaning, with purpose, with responsibility, and today, when I stand as a successful dairy farmer, running a professional, high-level business, I know that none of this was ever accidental. Every moment of my childhood, every feeding, every playful chase, every birth I witnessed, every illness I treated, every tear I wiped from a frightened calf, all of it shaped me into the woman I am now. I realized something beautiful. I did not choose dairy farming chose me. It claimed my soul before I even understood the world. It carved its lessons into my heart long before I could spell my own name. It raised me gently and prepared me silently. People sometimes ask me, how did you become so passionate? How do you manage so much responsibility? How do you love this work so deeply? And I smile, because the answer is simple. I never learned to love this life. I was born in love with it. This love did not grow with years. It grew with every calf that nudged my shoulder, with every cow that rested her head against me, with every sunrise that found me standing in the fields, with every evening that wrapped itself around the barn. As life took me forward, my knowledge expanded, my experience deepened, my farm grew, my skills sharpened, but one thing never changed. My heart stayed exactly where it always was, in the fields, in the hay, in the quiet calm of the barn. And now, as I reflect on the journey behind me, I also look toward the journey ahead. The future of my dairy farming is not just a plan, it is a promise to honor the animals who raised me, a promise to expand, improve, and innovate, a promise to carry forward the legacy my parents began, and a promise to remain grateful for every moment this life has given me. I know challenges will come, storms will arrive, hard days will test my patience. But I am no longer that little girl who simply loved the farm. I am the woman who can protect it, who can grow it, who can lead it. I stand here today not because of success, but because of connection, because of the deep bond one formed with life itself. And because of the lessons nature never stopped teaching me. This outro is not an ending, it is an acknowledgement, a gentle reminder of where I came from, where I stand now, and where I will always belong, to the cows who watched me grow, to the calves who played with me, to the peaceful mornings and quiet nights, to the hands that taught me, and to the land that shaped me. You will always be my first teachers, my first companions, my first family, and no matter how far I go, no matter how big my success grows, my heart will forever return to the same place, the barn where the little farm girl found her purpose, the fields where her laughter echoed, the animals who raised her with silent love, because this is more than a profession, more than a business, more than a career. This is my home, my identity, my heartbeat, and as long as I live, I will carry this life with pride, not on my shoulders, but in my soul. This is Lady Hazelthorn, a woman created by the farm and forever loyal to the land that raised her. You will always be my first teachers, my first companions, my first family, and no matter how far I go, no matter how big my success grows, my heart will forever return to the same place, the barn where the little farm girl found her purpose, the fields where her laughter echoed, the animals who raised her with silent love, because this is more than a profession, more than a business, more than a career. This is my home, my identity, my heartbeat, and as long as I live, I will carry this life with pride, not on my shoulders, but in my soul. This is Lady Hazelthorn, a woman created by the farm and forever loyal to the land that raised her.